Tonight on NBC 15 News at 6, we're dedicating our entire newscast to a conversation with the candidate for mayor of Mobile.
All of them are passionate.
The challenges they'll face.
We cannot find applicants for jobs.
And why they say they deserve your vote.
Barbara Drummond has been at the table.
We're taking you beyond the podium in a special edition of NBC 15 News. Good evening again, everyone. Tonight on NBC 15 News, we're sitting down with State Representative Barbara Drummond. A Mobile native, Drummond graduated from the University of South Alabama, going on to work as a reporter for the Mobile Register. She left a career in journalism to work as the Public Affairs Director for Mobile County, and later as the Executive Director of Administrative Services and Community Affairs for the City of Mobile under Mayor Sam Jones. And she was elected to the House of Representatives in 2014 and is the chair of the Alabama House Democratic Caucus. And now she's working to get back in the mayor's office, but this time as the mayor of Mobile. Representative Barbara Drummond, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I do too. And we have full disclosure, we've known each other since you were a reporter.
That's right.
Many moons ago.
That's right. So we've seen this city go through a whole lot of evolution, and all of it is for the good.
And we have seen that for sure, and you reported on it. Now you're hoping to make some news, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, we're going to get right into it, and I want to talk about that. You served in a non-elective capacity in both the city and the county administrations, both in community affairs and public relations, because I would do interviews with you a lot. Now, a lot structurally changed in the city since you were last there with Sam Jones. Now, what I'm wondering is, do you like what you see now, the way the city has evolved? Do you see some things that you'd like to change? What would a Barbara Drummond administration look like?
Well, you know, I don't look at wanting to change what other folks have done. I look at the mayor's office is passing the torch. I think everybody who will precede me have done a good job. Mm-hmm. I think that we've done a great job with creating a sound economic base for Mobile, meaning when we've attracted all of the industries that we have now. And I told some folks last night, also with the $65 million penny, you know, that's how much is being collected for the city coffer. All of those things happen under the administration in which I worked for. Mm-hmm. So I am proud to run for this office and sit there and say that the foundation, the strong economic foundation Mobile now enjoys, especially a good credit rating of AA stable from Moody, mm-hmm. It is all because all of those things were set in place, and it further cements my thought of this is a torchbearer. You know, everybody has done a good job, and you pass it to the next one. And I'm excited about Mobile's future because I see all of the seeds that were planted under all of those other administrations taking shape.
So you feel like you've already got an investment in it, right?
I've got an investment. I tell people that I am someone who's like Dorothy. I love Mobile. Mm-hmm. Never wanted to leave Mobile, had opportunities to, but I wanted to stay here. And it's exciting when you can drive around the city and you can see everything from the homeless shelter from McKimmey Place, which is across the street from the mm-hmm. studio, and know that you had a hand in putting that together because you saw a problem and you came up with a solution. Or even when you go downtown for New Year's Eve, knowing you were the one who even coined the phrase moon pie over Mobile, and now you have a festival that has a great economic benefit and that is putting heads in beds. And I'm most proud of Bayfest because I felt Bayfest set Mobile on its own. And then I remember in 2012 when we landed Airbus, that was the most gratifying thing. We worked very, very hard. And I was there when we changed our approach. Mobile has always been one who tried to go after things on their own. The county did theirs on their own, and the state. And then one day we all stopped and said, the secret sauce is in our ability to partner and our collaborative efforts.
Now, I want to get into you with that because that is almost opposite of what you've experienced in Montgomery over the past few years. Let's face it, it is a Republican-dominated legislature. A lot of times when you introduce bills, you do get some of them passed, but with any legislation, some of it dies. But it can be a struggle. Now, I'm wondering, do you think you can do more as a mayor in a city where you might have a little more control or say so than you could do in Montgomery?
Well, most definitely. But let me tell you, I think in Montgomery, I was one of those individuals, I am one of those individuals who has the ability to work across the aisle. We have a local legislative delegation, and if you say this is what is good for Mobile, we're going to fight very hard. I'm proud to say it was our delegation that we all worked hard, and we have the largest school system in the state of Alabama. And when we changed the funding formula for education, we were able to get $11.7 million more dollars. In addition to that, we have BC Rain has a wonderful aerospace program. I am proud to say my Republican colleagues helped me get $350 more thousand in this session, bringing the total to around $2.5 million.
How does that work? How do you make those coalitions when you know that sometimes they're going to vote against you?
Well, it's all about relationships. We don't always agree. Our politics is different, but they want the same things that I do for our community. And when you have a delegation that looks past parties, I told somebody when I got to Montgomery, one of the first things that I said to myself after coming out of county and city and then Montgomery, I went, oh wow, I can see why everything is so messed up. Because people have gotten so entrenched in parties that they've forgotten about people. But I say, when you have a local legislative delegation, and Mobile has one of the best, that we work toward the same goal for Mobile. So.
I want to get into some individual topics now. A recurring topic recently in mayoral forums has been complaints about blight, and I know you've talked about that, but there's been a lot of conversation online about a lot of properties downtown and throughout the area that have been owned by people for a long time. They're not doing anything to fix them. Then there's another point of view that was brought out saying the city doesn't seem to be able to coordinate efforts between its departments, and so that discourages a lot of repairs and reinventions of some of these properties. How do you see that being changed, and what would you do?
Well, Darwin, you know, I actually have sat down with the development community as well as the real estate community, and I was somewhat saddened when they told me that they didn't want to come into Mobile because the bureaucracy was just so crazy. I think that we need, and so that'll be one of my top focus, is looking at the permitting process for the city of Mobile, because I am one of those individuals. I pass local bills to help expedite the city's effort of trying to declare property blighted so that we can get something done about it. You know, just this year with Representative Clark, she was able to get the scrap tires, and I was actually able to get trash. So we're pushing the legislation, but the process is still bogging down. So I'm going to, not only will I put together a comprehensive committee, but I'm going to take a good look at that process, because we need to make it more friendly for people to want to come into Mobile to do business. Especially, one of the things I have an idea for is that all of the blight that we have, and we talk about affordable housing, I look at all of the blight. I've driven around in a lot of our communities where all of the blight is, and there's so much history, and the houses are absolutely beautiful, and they need to be revitalized. I see us creating small businesses that can go and incentivize them to come into those communities and rehab those houses and make them livable again. It's all a part of my effort to take Mobile to the next level, to create a new lifestyle change where we have livable communities with green spaces that are safe and green spaces that are the hub of that community. And also, when you look at our malls, all of those are going down with online shopping and so forth, and I push for Mobile to get a greater share of the internet sales tax. But when you look at all of that, it's time for us to incentivize our neighborhoods again. And I think by doing that, we can create some small business owners. So I see an economic value there. But it's time for Mobile to make itself healthy in all respects. Take care of what we've got, but also go and bring up what we sort of have forgotten about.
We're going to take a break right now, and we want to get into some other issues like public safety and stuff forth when we come back. And a couple things I want to talk to you about as well. youth outreach, healthcare, all kinds of different things to talk about. So we're going to do that when we come back with candidate Barbara Drummond, so be sure to stay with us. We are in our Beyond the Podium series of interviews live here on NBC 15, and we return in just a moment. State Representative Barbara Drummond is back with us, and we want to get into public safety, and that is one of the main issues of any mayoral campaign, probably across the United States. It just is. Public safety is something we all are concerned about. And there's a couple areas I want to get into. I know you probably have some generic thoughts about this, but one of the things I'm talking about tonight is, will stronger punishments get the attention of young men committing or inclined to commit violent crimes such as gang violence, or are we wasting our time and energy with punishment, and we should be looking at more prevention, or is there a combination of both?
I think there's a combination of both, because you have a lot of those that are repeat offenders. And especially when you look into the past of many of those that have committed some of the hideous things that we've seen in our city, those are repeat offenders. And I think that we need to be very, very tough on them. But I think that we need to create a public safety model that gets to those children before they make it to the penal system. I have a number of USA students who are volunteering in our campaign, and I was talking to them about this issue, is that there's very little in this city for young people. You know, when you just sit down and say, what does a young person have to do in this city? I remember once upon a time, even around the corner from you, there was a YMCA, and it had a lot of programs for the youth. It's gone. Downtown Y, it's gone. We have one left, and it is teetering on closing.
Boys and Girls Clubs are...
And that's one that is near and dear to my heart, because I think that they offer, they are a nonprofit. Nonprofits have such a role in our community, and they have a program that can help in every one of those communities, that can help seed those children back into a sustainable life. Because when you look at the family structure now, admittedly, some of these children are coming out of some horrific situations. But when you look at Boys and Girls Club with the city, I remember one time the city actually put about over $1 million into the Boys and Girls Club.
Well, now that's one thing that I'm going to skip ahead to a question that's later on, and because we're into it right now, and that is with the federal government obviously sending more of these responsibilities back to state and local governments. Does the city have a responsibility to support some of these nonprofits?
I do. I believe that we do, because it offers a value to our community. I'm not saying we need to fund their entire budget, but certainly we ought to be able to prop them up so that they can become a more of a value in our community. Take public safety. If the Boys and Girls Club, and I go to just about everything, and I've supported them over the years, they can take a child, and you can see a child that comes out of a very marginalized, poverty-stricken community, and that child is now an attorney. I know someone who was was the Boys and Girls Club of the Year. And those are the kinds of situations that they can do. So they're saving our communities dollars, because they're catching those children before they go into the penal system. We've got to start thinking more prevention. Instead, the model of just locking them up and throwing away the key, that doesn't work. Even on the state level, we cannot build more jails or more prisons. We've got to start looking at trying to save our young people now. And that's why, Darwin, I'm one of these folks. I believe education is the thread that holds our community together. So I am so dedicated to education, and I was talking about the Dearborn Y. I am proud of this fact that in my legislative district, both of my Boys and Girls Club closed, R.V. Taylor as well as the one at Gale Yard. And I was freaking, and I said, what can I do to help? So I get just a little education money. So I sent 50 kids last year. I had parents who I didn't know. One was a man who had 2 of his children who didn't know what he was going to do with his kids. They were in that Boys and Girls Club program. And I did it again this year. And so we've got to invest back into our youth. If we plan to get the best out of them, we've got to give them more and safer options. that they can choose. That's why I'm big on all of the workforce development programs that are in our schools, as well as in Excel Academy, which is one of our charter. And I am one of the co-sponsors of the REACH Act, which is giving that kid, all of our kids are not going to go to college.
Right.
Some are going to go into technical fields. And this will give them a technical diploma so that they can become sustainable citizens. One that I'm proud of, and the home building industry, that's why I told you I sat down and talked with them. They want to start a program. We passed the law this session that will allow them not to go to the city and say, give me money. They're going to put a fee on themselves and start an academy to train plumbers, electricians, and home builders. That is the kind of things that I said that is going to help us build a much more safer and sustainable community that will help us get those children before they get into the penal system.
While we're on that subject, you have been critical about Alabama's permitless carry law, but the overwhelming majority of lawmakers in Montgomery were for that law and they passed it. So what do you think as mayor you could do at a local level that you feel, since you don't agree with permitless carry, that you think could combat that or manage it in some way?
Well, when you say the legislators, they were, but my entire house was against it, as well as all of law enforcement throughout the state of Alabama. This actually makes their job a lot more hazardous.
A lot of people don't understand why that is the case.
Well, because they want to know who have guns. That's our problem. There are too many guns on the street. We have to admit that. How are these young people getting all of these guns? I mean, there's just too many guns that are on the street. I don't want to take away anybody's Second Amendment right. I have a gun, but I'm a responsible gun owner. You know, I was one of those people that was pushing, you know, if someone finds a gun. I went to one of our high schools here, and the resource officer showed me all of the things that were confiscated from students. By far, it was guns. And I said, what do you do? Who do the guns belong to? They belong to their parents. And so I said, let's be accountable. Let's be responsible. But I think locally with permitless carry, I think that we can look at some initiatives, because I want to create safe places. If we can walk into a restaurant and there's a sign that says no smoking, why can't we have a place like Sanger's Theater that says no guns allowed?
We're going to be back in just a moment to talk more with Barbara Drummond. She is state representative from here in Mobile, District 103, and she's also running for mayor of Mobile. So we are going to talk with her a few more minutes before we have to say goodbye. She's got a lot to say, so you return with us as well. And before I ask you our final question, if someone has a question that I didn't get a chance to ask because there's a million questions out there, how can they get in touch with you?
They can email me at team@drummondformayor.com.
That's easy, and
That's
I
real
will
easy.
put that in our 10 o'clock report tonight and online so you can reach out to Barbara. Mayor Stimpson ran on a campaign of One Mobile. And one question I like to end with at every chance to talk to a politician or a mayoral candidate like yourself is, what is One Mobile? Who is One Mobile to you?
Well, let me say that again, I think this is a torchbearer job, and I think that means opportunities for all in Mobile. That is what I'm running on, is because we have so many opportunities here in Mobile, and one of the things that Team Drummond, Representative Drummond, mayoral candidate Barbara Drummond, I want to make sure that we create opportunities for everybody and not just some. I am ready for us to keep our citizens, making sure that we have a city that has so many amenities that people are fighting us to move back into the city of Mobile and not to Baldwin County or to somewhere else. When a young person says, I want opportunity, they will say, I need to come home, because the opportunities are in Mobile, be it a good job or a safe and a very structured, livable neighborhood that is healthy. I want to have places and things to do in Mobile. Like one of my near and dear, and I think it goes back to my reporting days, is because I had the fortune when I was a reporter, I interviewed Mama Eva, which was the last living child of Cudjoe Lewis in Africatown. So I know the story of the Clotilda so well. Many of those people that I interviewed are no longer with us, but it is so exciting. I think that is the ecotourism market in Africatown. And as mayor, I want to make sure that I make it something that is so internationally known, and we put amenities out there that folks from all over the world will come and know the jewel. It's not just one Mobile, but this is a place where there's opportunity for all, that no matter what you want to do, it is here in Mobile. We've got the amenities. We're the only place in the state that has two interstates, the greatest port, a new international airport, and now we've got Amtrak. Mobile is going to a new level, and I think I have the ability to take it further, because my heart is here, my heart is for the people, and the most important, my heart is making sure that we create opportunities for everybody.
That is a good closing pitch from Barbara Drummond, State Representative running for Mayor of Mobile on August 26th. We appreciate you so much being here.
And thank you
Absolutely.
for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Now, if you missed yesterday's conversation with candidate Spiro Chirigatis, or you want to rewatch today's conversation with Representative Barbara Drummond or share it, you can find the full newscast on our YouTube channel, and it'll be here on our website at mynbc15.com. And we are continuing our conversations with the candidates the rest of this week. Tomorrow we'll have a regular newscast, but then we're going to pick up our conversations with the candidates on Thursday with Mobile Police Chief, former Police Chief Paul Prine. Then Friday we'll have County Commissioner Connie Hudson. We'll round out the week. So this is a great opportunity to get to know your candidates beyond just a sound bite or a news clip. Just tune in to NBC 15 News at 6 o'clock. And you can vote for your choice of mayor of Mobile Tuesday, August 26th. Be sure to check your polling location on the City of Mobile's website. Several locations have been moved for this year's election. Thank you for joining us so much